on, show here are your crimes. What did you do? Oh, you were disgusting. When you behave in the way sheriff don't particularly appreciate this facility, it's great. He'll throw you. At least one of those places he'll throw you. You see, one of his absolute favorite punishments is the bird cage. Any of you geniuses want to tell me why it's called the bird cage? No one?
Looks like a bird cage.
It looks like a bird cage. That's right. And they don't kill birds in this here bird cage. Now, jailbirds, they can't fly, at least not on their own. But in this jail, they're going to help you out with that. See that loop right there? When they throw a man in this bird cage, they'll throw him in there, tie a rope around that loop, and throw that rope over that big old oak tree, and they'll hoist this cage about 2 stories high in the air. And so that inmate is going to spend 24 to 72 hours swinging from that tree in that cage. And there ain't no bucket in this cage either. Means you got to do your business over the side, unless you be standing in your own filth. But, see, it ain't all bad when you're up that high, you get a nice view of everything. The ocean, the town, the inlet, the choo-choo train, and the dark gray ominous storm cloud coming your way. Did I mention that Florida is the lightning capital of the world? And you're swinging 2 stories up in a big metal cage from an oak tree? You see, that's what we call a kick-me sign. Got a light? Well, you will. So he was sitting in the saloon, having a drink after work, just minding his own business. One knew nothing, nobody. We overheard this man spreading some, shall we say, raunchy rumors about his wife. And understandably, he didn't like that very much. Well, Charlie did what any good husband would do in that situation. He got up and defended her honor, as he should have. Well, he got into an argument with the man, of course. And the man said, "You going to do something about it, boy?" Well, guess what? Charlie pulls out his gun and does something about it. Well, in the state of Florida, you shoot a man dead in the middle of the saloon, they're going to hang you for it. And that's exactly what's going to happen for old Charlie. He gets arrested, convicted of murder, and sentenced to death. They throw him in a death row cell. And now, so the sheriff and the detectives say, "Go to the death row cell, let Charlie get it ready to hang." But when they open the door to the cell, they find him sprawled out on the ground, completely unconscious and unresponsive. No matter what they do, he will not wake up. They try everything to wake him up, but nothing works. So now we got problems. The man can't stand, he can't hang. And sheriff, he's got hundreds of people out here. We'll all pay good money to watch public hanging. Oh, did I also mention it's election season? Yeah, you know what that means. Not only do we have a paying crowd, we also have a crowd of voters. Not to mention the sheriff, he's a very proud man. Do you really think he's about to come out here and say, "Sorry, everyone, hanging's off. Here's your money back"? Oh, no. No. That's not how the sheriff does things. You know what Sheriff Perry does instead? He comes out here, gets a piece of wood out of the ground, goes back in the jail, ties Charlie up to that piece of wood, drags him out the jail, up the steps of the gallows, puts the noose around his neck, pulls the lever, down drops old Charlie. Oh, the story's just getting good. You see, what happened is, when Charlie went through that door there, the rope couldn't handle damn straight from the wood. You see, when they prepare a man to hang, they make sure the rope is strong enough to hold his weight. They didn't think he was going to be strapped to a big old piece of wood when he went down. So the rope snapped. He hit the ground and catapulted right about there. Don't look, though. He's not there. People like to look. Now, you see, Charlie, he's still alive. His neck's broken. He's wide awake, but he's still breathing. And that presents a new problem for the sheriff. Because in the state of Florida, it's illegal to hang a man twice for the same crime, mostly because once is enough. But also, keep in mind, this is the Deep South in 1908. People are extremely religious. They see something like that, it's nothing less than God personally interfering to spare this man from an unjust death. To kill him now would be straight up murder and against God's will. And no good Christian would ever dare do that, except Sheriff Joe Perry. Well, you see, as much as he'd like you to believe to the contrary, the sheriff, he is no good Christian. No, he's the devil incarnate, and that ain't no joke for sure. You see, the sheriff, he really has no regard for the law or the will of God. As far as he's concerned, he's both. You know what he does instead? He turns to his deputies and says, "Go fetch a fresh rope. We're going to hang this man again." Well, luckily for Charlie, he died of his injuries shortly before they did come back with that fresh rope. Now, these cells, most of them serve a pretty unique purpose in themselves. You see that cell right there? That is the death row cell. Oh, yeah, pleasant, I know. You see, when you're sentenced to hang in this jail, this is where they will put you for the last 30 days of your natural life. And not only over the course of those 30 days, you get a nice scenic view of the gallows, but you'll also be forced to participate in their construction. That's right, in this jail, they make you build your own gallows. Right here is from the execution of the murderer, Sim Jackson. Now, unlike old Charlie, old Jackson, he had it coming. You see, one night, old Sim, he got into a pretty vicious argument with his wife. About what? We don't really know. But considering what he did next, we can assume it was a pretty nasty disagreement. You see, he killed her, but he didn't just kill her. He tried to decapitate her with a straight razor. And I say tried because the razor broke her collarbone before he could finish the job. So, when I tell you he deserved it, he deserved it. Well, he kills his wife and goes on the run. The sheriff chases after him, catches up with him in Tallahassee. Catches him, throws him in that cell right there. Death row cell. Yeah, he was in that cell too. Good luck saving tonight. Well, now it's time to hang. Now, this in itself is very unusual. You see, it's illegal in the state of Florida to take a picture of a public hanging. So then your next question is, why is there a picture of a public hanging? Well, you see, the sheriff, that's him right there, big boy. And that man in the center, that is Sim Jackson. See, the sheriff decided to make an exception in this case for the picture. See these two men in the bottom corners here? They are brain doctors, and they're here to conduct an experiment. That experiment being how long a man could survive and effectively communicate what his mental state is while he's in the process of being hung. And the sheriff, being a man of science, decided he was going to give this day a few perks. Well, considering the special circumstances of this execution, they decided to give old Sim Jackson some dignity when he dies, which is a rarity here. See, he's got a nice suit. They even let him hold some bouquet of flowers for the picture. And then, before they string him up, they actually let him give a speech. I know, we were amazed too. And you see, he ended that speech with, "To all of my friends and family, I will see you all in heaven." Yeah, you see the contradicting statement there? Yeah. Well, he finishes his speech. They put the noose around his neck. They put the hood over his head. Tie him all down. Guess what? They drop the lever. Now he's swinging. Unlike with old Charlie, that one holds. Now, as soon as he starts swinging the doctors, they get to work. Now, for obvious reasons, old Cindy can't communicate verbally. So what the doctors do instead is they have him communicate through a hand gesture, opening and closing his fist to indicate the word yes. And so they ask him two questions. Number one, Mr. Jackson, can you hear us? Well, open and close his fist, indicating yes, indeed, he could hear them. Number two, Mr. Jackson, are you in pain? Well, the man's swinging from his neck on a rope. Yeah, he's in pain. Well, he hung like that, fully conscious, for 10 minutes. And then he spent another 4 minutes hanging there unconscious. And after 14 minutes total finally elapsed, he died. Now, you see this bag right here? That is 40 pounds of extra weight. And that has a very specific purpose. You see, when they hang a man, the purpose isn't to strangle him. That takes too long. They don't want it to take that long. The ideal outcome of a hanging is the immediate snapping of the neck. And since his neck didn't snap immediately, that bag was there to snap as quickly as possible. That's 40 pounds of extra pressure on his neck. So imagine if that had not been there. He would have been hanging around a lot longer, I'll tell you that much. Now, I don't know about y'all, but all this talking about death row, and balls and chains and solitaires really got me hungry. Which means, ladies, it's time to introduce you to your new place of employment, to the kitchens. Since I assume most of you are relatively sane people, your first thought when you walk into a kitchen isn't going to be heat stroke and death. No. You don't think about such unpleasantness when you're in the kitchen. The kitchen's a happy place. It's where food is prepared. And so you think about food and what you're going to eat next. So your next question is naturally going to be, Harry, when do we get to eat in this dump? Well, don't worry, I'll tell you. You see, in this jail, we get two amazing options for breakfast. Grits or no grits. How many of y'all like grits? Okay. The fancy camera guy does. The other person, all right. Like 2 people and the rest of you are dirty Yankees. Any of you from New England? No one's here to bring me clam chowder. What's wrong with you? Well, for all you Yankees in the room, grits is so delicious. It's ground up corn mixed with the salt and the butter and the cheese, and it is absolutely amazing. It's divine. Not our grits. Our grits are wet sand. In fact, I take that back. It's an insult to wet sand everywhere. I'm sorry, wet sand. I'm apologizing to wet sand. That's how bad it is. But don't worry. Lunch and dinner, you get a much better option. You get beans. Just beans. You see, gents, when you're up in Gen Pop with me and a bunch of other men who've been eating beans all day, oh boy, gas attack incoming. Hey, World War I starts, you'll be well prepared. Now, gents, we're going to be on the Chang Gang all day, which means a lot of times we're not going to be here for the delicious bean meals the ladies were so kind to cook for us. So we get this instead, a little piece called hardtack. See, this is a piece of bread, ladies, that you're going to bake for us. Sugar, flour, and water. You'll bake this for 4 hours, then it's set for 2 days. When the final project's all ready to go, you get this. Hard as a rock, probably can stop a bullet. Obviously, you don't eat it like this. You'll break all your teeth off. What you do, you take a cup of coffee, put the hardtack in your cup of coffee, you let it sit there and stew for about an hour or so. What happens is, it gets all nice and soft and gooey and chewy, and then you can actually chew on it and eat it without, needing dentures afterwards. Well, like everything in this jail, there's a catch. A lot of times it's bugs that love to burrow on this hardtack called weevil beetles, and when it gets all nice and soft, they'll come right up to the top of your coffee and squirm around. Now, if you don't like that, just scrape them right off the top. Or, do what I do. Bottoms up. Now this right here is the dumb waiter. This is how we get food up and down the general population. This is how we communicate with the folks upstairs. 2 bags. threw it up to the second floor. 3 bangs, 3rd floor. Simple. Now, who wants to see how the sheriff spends his days?
Trouble, stay away from my door. Trouble, stay away from my door. Trouble, go back, don't come around no more. Trouble, stay away from my door. Never stay away from my home. Never stay away from my home. Never go back and leave my soul alone. Never stay away from my home. Never come around me no more. Never Said keep me free from your spell. Said keep me free from your spell. Said go on back unto the gates of hell. Said keep me free from your spell.